Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight for Korea-US Friendship Night. My name is Anita Oh and I am honored to serve as your MC tonight this evening, along with John Sung, who will be translating in Korean. Again, a warm welcome to the final event of our weekend-long centennial celebration. This evening, I am proud to stand before you as a young Korean-American woman pursuing her dream as a television journalist turned law and business student at the University of Pennsylvania. I believe that this is possible because of the sacrifice and the movement made by so many before me, including on this day 100 years ago. On April 14, 1919, the first Korean Congress gathered 100 years ago in this very theater to raise awareness of the fight for Korea's independence. It has been a long-standing tradition to begin this night with a prayer, but before we do so, I would like Mr. Sung to translate in Korean.
네, 여러분 안녕하십니까. 좋은 밤입니다. 여러분들과 함께 세 번째 마지막 오늘 한국, 미국 프렌십 나잇을 함께 하게 된 것을 감사하게 생각하고 오늘 이 밤에 애니타 오와 그리고 제가 함께 사회를 보게 되었습니다. 여러분들 모두 환영하고 이 시간을 함께 즐기기를 원합니다. 제가 코리안 아메리칸 워먼으로서 지금 미국에서 텔레비전 저널리스트로 꿈꾸며 공부하고 일하고 있고 또 법대에서 법을 공부하는 학생으로서 너무나 자랑스러운 이 밤이 아닐 수가 없습니다. 1919년 4월 14일 100년 전에 첫 번째 한인회가 개최되어서 우리가 한국의 독립을 위해서 싸웠고 이 독립을 위해서 애썼던 것을 기억하면서 오늘 이 자리에 모인 것을 알게 되고 이것이 우리들의 트래디션, 전통이 되어져서 또 좋은 결과들을 많이 낳는 인사를 드리기를 바랍니다. 여러분들 이 시간 제임스 리 목사님 나오셔서 시간 기도를 인해주시겠습니다.
Following the wonderful tradition of prayer, I'll just follow. Let's pray. 100 years ago, when a small band of Korean expatriates gathered here together in this city of brotherly love and sisterly care, and believing in the sheer power of peaceful means to make the case for Korean independence. Little did they imagine that even over the span of 100 years later, their small action, bold action, still reverberating, still echoing to the people's heart. Father God, as we celebrate tonight's occasion, let us be reminded and united to the peace, not only as a cause, but also as a means. I pray that let peace runs like a river and reign in the heart and mind of the people from this place and occasion and onward. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend James Lee. At this time, we ask those who are able to please stand with us as we salute both the Korean and American flags.
자리에 일어나실 수 있는 분들은 함께 일어나 주셔서 국기에 대한 경례과 애국과 미국가를 지창하시겠습니다. 다 같이 국기를 향하여 국기에 대하여 경례. 바로 이 시간 소프라노 김성지 집사님의 인도로 한국가와 미국가를 함께 지창하시겠습니다.
Amen.
mezzo-soprano Sungji Kim for leading us in both the Korean National Anthem and the Star-Spangled Banner. Pioneering the centennial celebration, our co-sponsor, Philip Jason Memorial Foundation and the Korean American Association of Greater Philadelphia. We invite Dr. Chung Tae Kim, chairman of the foundation, to give opening remarks at this time.
이번 행사는 필라델피아 한인회와 또 서재필 재단에서 공동 후원하고 있습니다. 특별히 우리 서재필 재단의 김종태 박사께서 나오셔서 개회사를 해주시겠습니다.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of guests and people from Korea and US government and our community to celebrate tonight. My name is Chung Tae Kim. This is my great pleasure and privilege on behalf of Philip Jason Memorial Foundation to welcome you here tonight. For the past 2 days, we all gathered, learned the history, and we marched for the first Korean Congress Centennial Celebration. I sincerely thank Mr. Byung-gi Jang and George Choi, co-chairs of the first Korean Congress Centennial Celebration Organizing Committee. I also thank all staff, volunteers, and Korean American people who make this event great. Without their support, this would not be made possible. Today is our last celebration day. We are all here to celebrate Korean United States Friendship Night. As everybody knows, friendship is defined in a dictionary as the state of being friends and state of being friendly. However, I prefer to describe it. Friendship is a promise made in the heart, unbreakable and unchangeable by distance or by time. As we learn more and more about the friendship between Dr. Philip Jason and Reverend Floyd Tompkins, I realized their friendship was much more than that defined in dictionaries. I would like to believe my understanding of the friendship because it is proved by Tompkins family presence with us here tonight. We would like to continue this friendship between the Korean community and Tompkins family forever. I believe so do they, right? Now, we are enjoying the fruits of the friendship which was built 100 years ago. I am very sure all of you agree with me that it's our turn to keep the friendship between Korean and US for the next 100 years. I hope everyone enjoys today's performance and have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Also here with us tonight to make some commemorative remarks is Chairwoman Judy Yu of the Korean American Association of Southern New Jersey.
이 시간 남부 뉴저지 한인회 이주영 이사장님께서 축사해 주시겠습니다.
Hi everyone, my name is Judy Yu. Wow, this is great. Tonight, we are all here to celebrate and then commemorate the spirit and the movement of our ancestor, the Korean American and friends of Korean American who lived in 1919. Even though after 100 years, their spirit and movement still highly recognized and remembered and still influence many of our lives. The movement was non-violent movement to keep the freedom and the independence of our motherland, Korea. Tonight, I hope we can celebrate and inspire and unite together to look forward to another 100 years of true freedom and prosperity of our life with stronger friendship of Korea and US. 필라델피아에서의 3.1운동 제1차 한인 회의 재현 행사 마지막 날입니다. 이 뜻깊은 행사에 참석하신 여러분들 진심으로 환영하고 또 다른 100년 대계를 맞이하며 미주동포로서 자긍심을 갖고 준비하는 우리 모두가 되었으면 합니다. I want to have a special thanks to Philip Jason Memorial Foundation for hosting tonight's event, and Hyundai Motor USA and Dr. Bong-sik Lee for sponsoring tonight's event, and also New York Marching Band and Peace Orchestra, and the Korean School of Southern New Jersey for preparing tonight's excellent performance for many hours and many days. And also thank you to the teachers and the parents. Hope everybody enjoy tonight's performance and have a great time. Thank you.
We would now like to play a video about the First Korean Congress, about what it means, what we have done, and where we are going.
이어서 우리가 비디오 클립을 보실 텐데 이 회의를 위해서 우리가 어떤 의미가 있는 것이고 어떻게 준비했고 어떤 일들이 일어나고 있었는지에 대한 간략한 설명을 해줄 것입니다. 여러분들 함께 즐거운 시간 되시기 바랍니다.
The Republic of Korea is called Land of the Morning Calm. Korea was annexed by Japan in 1910. Harsh Japanese colonial rule on the Korean Peninsula continued. When the Allies won the First World War in 1918, the principle of national self-determination spread in colonial territories around the world.
Unfortunately, it seems that was not applied to Korea. It was applied to the defeated imperial powers in Europe. And so Korea was still recognized as being a Japanese possession. So self-determination did not apply to Korea.
On March 1st in 1919, demonstrations supporting the Declaration of Independence quickly broke out throughout the Korean Peninsula. It is estimated that more than 1 million of Korea's 20 million people participated in street demonstrations. 7,000 Korean Americans were in a panic when, on March 9th, the first news of it arrived by telegram. On April 14th, 1919, Dr. Philip Jason, Dr. Syngman Rhee, and Henry Chung gathered with 150 national leaders and Americans at the Little Theater in Philadelphia to hold the first Korean Congress in response to the 3-to-1 movement in Korea. They publicized to the world the reality of Japanese aggression and revealed the legitimacy of Korea's independence. For 3 days, 6 resolutions and appeals were adopted to support Korean independence. Following the meeting, all of the participants marched to Independence Hall in a demonstration to bring awareness to the American people. Surprisingly, in support for the cause, the mayor of Philadelphia sent a police escort and marching band for the event. Many newspapers published articles of the spectacle. Immediately after the First Korean Congress, Dr. Jason established the Bureau of Information for ROK and Korea Review publication to continue informing the public of the efforts for independence. In addition, Reverend Floyd Tompkins and Dr. Jason created the League of Friends of Korea. It totaled approximately 25,000 members and had 23 chapters. The League was comprised of numerous high-ranking officials, including senators, religious leaders, and scholars. On May 1st, 2018, community leaders in Delaware County, which includes southeastern Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, and Delaware, gathered to celebrate the centennial celebration.
We would like to use this opportunity to educate our future generation and also mainstream, as that was done 100 years ago by Dr. Jason and others. Not only we would like to celebrate this great history, but also we would like to inspire our young generation so that they can unite themselves and become leaders of our community for many years to come.
In order to teach the second generation about the powerful history of the Korean independence movement in America, we implemented several education programs. For younger children, we incorporated lessons on the history of the independence movement in America in the curriculums of all the local Korean schools. We then created the Golden Bell History Quiz competition to create an engaging and rewarding way for children to engage with the material. Finally, for junior and senior high school students, we held lectures at the Philip J. Sutton Memorial House at the University of Pennsylvania and City Hall. We are grateful for the active contribution of our local politicians in making this celebration possible. In addition, Montgomery County and the City of New York have also adopted similar resolutions recognizing the event. On March 27th, the Pennsylvania State Senate and House of Representatives adopted resolutions designating the dates of the centennial celebration, the 12th to the 14th, the First Korean Congress Day.
Notably, from April 14th through April 16th, 1919, the First Korean Congress convened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to broadly declare Korean nationalism and activate supporters in the United States.
The Korean government recognized these efforts and even invited them to Korea to meet the president and participate in their celebration.
1919년 4월 필라델피아에서 재미 할인들과 함께 한국의 독립을 외쳤던 톰킨스 목사에게는 2015년 건국훈장 애국장이 추서되었습니다. 필라델피아 스데필 기념관을 새롭게 단장하는 데도 국비 7억원이 투입될 것입니다.
Through this event, we hope our second and third generation children will feel proud of their heritage and develop a strong sense of dual identity as Korean Americans to excel in the next 100 years.
Also joining us tonight, Deputy Consul General Sung Yu-woo of the Consulate General of the Republic of Korea in New York.
이 시간은 뉴욕 총영사께서 총영사 우성규 영사께서 나오셔서 축사해 주시겠습니다.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be here at the Korea-US Friendship Night to celebrate the centennial anniversary of the first Korean Congress in 1919. I want to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt appreciation to Mr. George Choi, President of Philip Jason Memorial Foundation, and Mr. Byung-gi Jang, President of the Korean American Association of Greater Philadelphia, for their dedication and hard work in organizing this meaningful event. I would also like to thank Representative Mary Gay Scanlon, State Representative Todd Stevens, Chair Commissioner Valerie Akushi of Montgomery County, Mayor Bob McMahon of Media City, and other distinguished guests for attending this event tonight. As all of you are well aware, the first Korean Congress was the first declaration of Korea's independence that took place in America, following the March 1st movements in Korea in 1919. This historic meeting played a catalytic role in empowering the Korean independence movement and presenting the cause to the international society. As you gather here today, a century later, we are given an excellent opportunity to reflect on the profound meaning of the Congress in 1919. On March 27th, a resolution was adopted to designate April 12th through 14th as the first Korean Congress Days by the Pennsylvania State Senate and the House of Representatives. And with so many participants at the opening ceremony, symposium, march, and Friendship Night for the reenactment of the first Korean Congress, we are able to reaffirm today the incredible support and friendship the city of Philadelphia had given in 1919. After Korea's independence in 1945, Korea has made a remarkable success as the 11th largest economy and mature democracy. We cannot emphasize enough the importance of friendship between the peoples of the United States and Korea. It began right here in Philadelphia at the first Korean Congress 100 years ago in 1919. In addition, the vibrant Korean-American community in Philadelphia has been reliable and responsive members. The community has made a meaningful contribution to the continued prosperity and diversity of not only Philadelphia, but also Pennsylvania. In continuing such a legacy, I hope that this celebration will appeal to the next generation of Korean Americans to encourage them to engage their communities more actively, as well as to appreciate their own cultural heritage. As you already know, the process for denuclearization and the permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula is moving forward, with the close cooperation and coordination between the United States and Korea. The Korea-US Summit in Washington, D.C., April 11th, has provided an important forward momentum in realizing that goal. In this regard, I hope that all of you gathered here will give your continued attention and support for our joint efforts. As we look back and retrace the historical past that started here in Philadelphia 100 years ago, it is also the right time for us to chart our path forward in making a better future for the Korean American community, as well as our alliance between Korea and the United States. Appreciating all of you for your kind support and participation once again. I wish you every success and good health. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now we'd like to welcome a face many of you will be familiar with, Philadelphia Councilwoman Helen Kim.
계속해서 필라델피아 의원이신 한랑기 시의원께서 축사해 주시겠습니다.
Good evening, everybody. I am so proud to be here tonight as your city councilwoman, as a second generation Korean American. I want to congratulate, of course, George Che from Philip J. Sun Memorial Foundation and President Chung from KAAGP. 100 years ago, in a time of grave injustice, Koreans across 2 continents joined together, seeking common cause for freedom, self-determination, and justice. They didn't look to the powers that be. One, after all, was under a cruel and inhumane occupation, and the other was a tiny minority on the East Coast. But they didn't define power and authority simply by titles. They weren't coming together based on political authority. They were coming together based on a moral authority that is derived from the core values which drive us together to form a civil society. They wrote, "We know you love justice. You also fought for liberty and democracy, and you stand for humanity. Our cause is a just one before the laws of God and man." And 100 years later, we are gathered here not only to remember a distant past, but to be challenged and reunited by a greater calling for the future, and especially future for our next generation. Because amidst a rising tide of authoritarianism abroad and at home, an anti-immigrant fervor that sees global migration as a threat rather than a promise, we as Korean Americans are again challenged to rise to this moment, to restore a common framework of values centered in people and not just power. Here and abroad, we are struggling to make real the vision of democracy and a global unity based on health and prosperity for all. And here in Philadelphia, we are uniquely positioned to do so. No longer are we a marginalized people. Much of the past decade of global dignity has been led by Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the United Nations, who reminded us of a new milestone as a human family. With 7 billion of us now inhabiting our planet, he asked, it is now time for us to ask the fundamental questions. How can we provide a dignified life for ourselves and future generations while preserving and protecting the global commons, our atmosphere, the oceans, and ecosystems that support us? And here in Philadelphia, this city has a leadership of 2 Korean American elected officials. We know our voices resonate beyond our municipal boundaries. And to the young people, many of whom are in our audience today, this is the rise of a generation that refuses to be silent amid injustice. The lessons of Korean and Korean American history in this anniversary year of the Korean Centennial Congress could not come at a more profound time for us as a Korean American community. Because, as was said, in a time of grave injustice, of moral abdications and constitutional abuses, it is a reminder that our community did not start with presidents and Congress. It did not start with the courts or the military to seek justice. Korean Americans reached out to each other. They started with each and every one of us, filled with an undying love for each other as fellow brothers and sisters in a global village, as an unbowed and unbroken Korean American community, as a people filled with conviction of justice and human rights for all, who pushed beyond our own borders and our own communities to unite with others and teach one another what it means to fight against injustice and to build for a better world for one another and for our children. This is not just a story of Korea's past, but a pathway to rebuild America and the world's future as a global democracy. So thank you again to Philip J. Sun for honoring this legacy, and to every one of you who came out tonight, and especially our young people, for your commitment to a future that has yet to be written. Thank you.
Now to present the U.S. House of Representatives proclamation, we welcome Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon, who represents the 5th District.
이 시간 미 하원 의원이신 존경하는 메리 스칼론 의원께서 선포문을 전달해 주시겠습니다.
I'm honored to be with you tonight as you celebrate the 100th anniversary of the first Korean Congress in Philadelphia. I'm also honored to come to you as the representative of Pennsylvania's 5th Congressional District, where the Philip J. Son Memorial Foundation is located and where Dr. J. Son made his home for many, many years. Last summer, I had the opportunity to tour the Memorial Foundation in Media, Pennsylvania, and learn about the good works of Dr. J. Son as a medical doctor, a researcher, a journalist, and as an essential advocate for Korean independence. So I'm proud to have learned of Dr. J. Son's work and the work of the First Congress, and to know that we have common ground in that work. We are proud that the delegates of the First Korean Congress look to our American independence and our experience for guidance. We're proud that they met here in Philadelphia and marched to Independence Hall for a public reading of the Korean Declaration of Independence and to announce the aspirations of the Korean people for a new independent nation that would embody democratic principles and spread peace to the world. And we're proud that this area was able to nourish and inspire both the Korean Republic and its independence and the many Korean American families who've made this region their home as they've pursued their dreams. So with that, it is my honor to now present this proclamation recognizing the 100th anniversary of the First Korean Congress and acknowledge our shared history, our shared desire for independence, and above all, our shared friendship between our two countries. Thank you.
And now presenting the Pennsylvania State House Resolution number 172, we welcome Pennsylvania State Representatives Todd Stevens and Steve Malagari.
계속해서 존경하는 헤드 스티브 말가리께서 PA주 의사당 결의안 172호를 발표해 주시겠습니다.
Well, it's an honor to be here. I'm State Representative Todd Stevens. I represent a part of Montgomery County in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, joined by my good friend and neighbor in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, Steve Malagari. We were proud to co-sponsor the resolution recognizing and remembering and commemorating this outstanding event. You know, as on behalf of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives and on behalf of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and all of our people, we are thrilled to host not only this 100th anniversary celebration, but to have hosted those momentous events back in 1919. And as so many other speakers have remarked, we're so proud that we could provide the backdrop and the inspiration needed for that movement to continue on and take hold, not just in America, but across the globe. We are proud to host a vibrant and thriving Korean American community today in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and indeed in my district. George and I were commenting earlier, Youngsang Church is actually right next to my neighborhood. I drive by it every single day, and my kids play actually on the playground over there pretty often. So we are thrilled to have such a vibrant and thriving Korean American community still present today in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and in fact, right in my legislative district. So again, it is my honor. I won't read the entire resolution. Many of you may have seen the video of it, but I do just want to read the closing of the resolution that was adopted unanimously by the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. Whereas the House of Representatives expresses sincere appreciation for the acts of nonviolent resistance and ideals of independence associated with the rise of Korean nationalism, and whereas the House of Representatives further recognize the contributions of Korean Americans in our Commonwealth and beyond, therefore be it resolved that the House of Representatives commemorate the centennial of the March 1st movement and First Korean Congress, and note their historic roles in Korea's nationwide resistance against Imperial Japan. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted to the First Korean Congress Centennial Celebration Committee. It is signed by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. It bears the House seal of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, as well as all the co-sponsors. And again, I mentioned that Representative Malagari and I both were among those to co-sponsor this terrific resolution. So I know I'm honored to be here, and thank you so much for the opportunity to present this resolution to the committee. And Steve, would you like to offer a few comments?
Thank you, Representative. I don't know how you can follow up that act. I just want to say thank you to allowing me to be here and participate in this wonderful occasion. Also, it was an honor to be able to sign on to that resolution on the House floor. It did mean a lot to me. We do have a thriving Korean American population within both of our districts in our area in the North Penn Valley. So I really do appreciate the honor of being here, and I thank you so much.
And now to present the Montgomery County Proclamation, please welcome Commissioner Chair Dr. Val Arkush.
지금은 몽고메리 카운티 위원장이신 발 알쿠이시 박사께서 선포문을 전달해 주시겠습니다.
Good evening. It is such an honor for me to be able to share this very important celebration with all of you, and to welcome all of the many dignitaries that have traveled here from Korea, from other parts of the country. We are so honored to have you here with us tonight on the exact anniversary of the beginning of the acknowledgement of this First Korean Congress here in Pennsylvania. I think about Dr. Jason a lot as I've gotten to learn more about him over the last year or so, and I want to thank George Che so much for educating me and helping me understand the importance of what we are celebrating tonight. And I think about Dr. Jason and how brave he was, that in a country that was not his original home, he felt comfortable to bring so many people together to fight for his homeland and to stand up clearly and fight for independence of Korea in a non-violent way. And it's such a tribute to our city here in Philadelphia, the birthplace of our independence in this country, and to the United States overall, that he felt comfortable in doing that. And it's been a wonderful weekend of celebration in honor of that, and it's just so great that we can continue this tradition here. On a personal note, I am a physician, and I understand that Dr. Jason was the first Korean physician in America, and I just want to applaud him and congratulate him for that as well. So I would also just like to read a part of our proclamation from Montgomery County. It is signed by all three commissioners, our Vice Chair Ken Lawrence and Commissioner Joe Gale. And the final portion reads, whereas the people of Pennsylvania have had a long and valued friendship with the people of Korea. We inspire Korean Americans from all generations to unite with one another and their American neighbors, whose support in the Korean independence movement was both influential and unwavering. We encourage Korean Americans to choose proudly to celebrate their history every day, by exemplifying the determination and passion that characterize the leaders of the Korean independence movement in America. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners of Montgomery County, do hereby recognize and commemorate the historic First Korean Congress Centennial Celebration in Montgomery County, and urge all Korean Americans and their neighbors to celebrate proudly. And with that, I want to thank the very large Korean community in Montgomery County. It is the fastest growing, one of the fastest growing communities in Montgomery County. I'm proud to honor all of you here tonight. Thank you.
And last but not least, presenting Media Borough's proclamation is Mayor Bob McMahon.
이 시간은 미디어부로 시장이신 맥마현 시장님께서 선포문을 전달해 주시겠습니다.
Thank you very much. First thing I want to say, this is off the top of my head, how proud I am to be the mayor of Media Borough, the home of Philip Jason, the home he had for 26 years, and that now houses his mansion that will go on forever. And George, the film clip you had up there, we want to see that in classrooms as soon as we can. The history of the Republic of Korea and how it was formed really belongs there. Now I'm just going to read a couple of lines from what I have and make one final comment. Whereas on March 1st, 1919, 33 core Korean independent activists signed the Korean Declaration of Independence from the Imperial Japan and in the Korean capital city of Seoul. I also want to get down to whereas the leader of the FKC was Dr. Philip Jason, who lived and worked in media from 1925 to 1951. Dr. Jason was the first Korean to earn citizenship and the first Korean medical doctor. Also, I want to add, this is a personal note. 51 years ago, I was serving in Vietnam, and I had the opportunity to go on patrols, joint patrols with what we call the ROKs, the Republic of Korea soldiers. No better soldiers anywhere in the United States. We knew when we went on patrol with the ROKs that they were going to be the leaders. They certainly were going to help save our lives or whatever. So I really appreciate the time I had to serve with them and gave you a sure appreciation of what you went through 20 years before that.
We're going to get shooed out of the auditorium with all these pictures. Please join me now in welcoming Philip Jason Memorial Foundation President George Che, who will be introducing our guests.
이제 마지막 순서, 일부 마지막 순서로 우리 서재표일재단의 최정수 회장님께서 나오셔서 오늘 참석하신 귀빈 여러분들을 다시 한번 소개해 주시겠습니다. 여러분들 최 회장님이십니다. 박수로 환영하시죠.
우리 게스트 소개하기 전에 before I introduce guests, there are National Assemblyman from Korea, Kang Hyo-sang. He's visiting with us. We didn't have an opportunity for him to give a greeting, so we'll just take 1 minute for him to give a greeting.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Hyo-sang Kang. I'm a member of the National Assembly of South Korea. I came to the USA after 14 hours flight. I'm so honored to be here with you, the American leaders and my fellow Korean American. Let me say just one thing briefly. As a Christian, I truly believe that the South Korea's success is mainly due to Christianity and the USA. Our first president, Dr. Lee Seung-man, who got a PhD degree in Princeton University here, became a Christian when he was in jail in South Korea, and he came to the USA as a exile, and he studied an American democracy and market economy, and after liberalization from Japan, he became the first Korean president. Can you imagine the South Korea became a very the rich and strong country? The ranking of the trade in the world is 10th, and the amount of GDP is 12th in the world. The amount of our GDP is larger than Australia and Spain and Mexico. I truly believe it's because of God's bless and God's will. I really thank you for the USA and the God. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, I was going through these introduction last 3 nights, and my children remind me that Korean function, whenever we get together, we take such a long time to introduce so many people. And so I beg them to just one more night. I'll go through quickly. At least the 부총영 이사님 잠깐, Deputy Consul General from New York. Their office has been so super. Helen Kim, what a speech. Proud to have 2 people in the City Council. Then Honorable Mary Gay Scallon in the districts that the Philip Jason Memorial House is, U.S. Congresswoman. And the Todd Stevens and the Steve Malagari, State Representative, they've been so super. And Dr. Val Arkush, Chair of the Montgomery County Commissioners. Our good friend, Mayor of Media, Bob McMahon. Then there are a couple of speakers from Korea, Dr. Hak-Sung Pak and the Dr. Sung-Pyo Hong. Where are they? Then there are Korean independence, patriot, and activist descendants who are with us, and the especially Dr. 이인수 박사님, 네 분 오셨죠? 네. Descendant of President Syngman Rhee. 그리고 딴 분들 다 소개할 수는 없고 그 독립운동가 후손들 전부 가족들 전부 일어나셨죠. 저희들이 소개했든지 못했든지 오늘은 안 계시나 보네. Okay. Then we got religious leaders that we wanted to have, and because that was the kind of a function that was for First Korean Congress.
And the representing the Buddhism, Dr. Bogin Kim, I know I saw her. She's the president of the One Institute. If I missed other religious leaders, forgive me, but there are one more introduction that I'll be done. There are special people. If you look at First Korean Congress one-page program, there are only 4 names you will see. They are non-Korean. They are all religious leaders. And back then it's a lot Christian. And you had so we got descendant of 2 of them. It's amazing. And so we got Floyd Tompkins family you've been hearing. So could you just stand? And so we have traveled from Alaska. And I haven't seen them, but I know that Rabbi Henry Berkowitz families are here. Jenny Berkeley and Ezra Berkeley are fine. And thank you very much. And again, Rabbi was one of them. He was a very famous one. I was reading it, and I was so glad to have them. They're 5th and 6th generation descendants. So what an honor to have them in our celebration. And thank you. And in the future, I hope that we can maintain our relationship as we expand our network in the mainstream. Thank you very much, and enjoy the part 2.